husband brought me to Camden in 1968, and that's how long I've been a member of Lyttleton Street.
I'm Frank Goodall, and I was born in Camden and lived here all my life except my college and Army days.
Vernon Williams, and I've been a member of Lyttleton Street Methodist Church about 60 years.
I'm Margaret Rogers, and I've lived in Camden about 10 years. Before that, I lived in Lugoff for about 15 years. But originally, we came from DuPont in Delaware.
I'm Lucy Rabb. I was Lucy Cotton. And my mother always said, that's like cotton in the field, not those fancy cottons that spelled it C-O-T-T-E-N. And I'm from Georgetown, South Carolina. And that's who I am.
He came from North Carolina, came down out of the hills from North Carolina. Dean was lucky enough to get a job here. We've been here 60 years nearly.
Yeah,
almost.
What was your first pet?
First one.
Pet?
Oh.
My first pet was an American cocker that my aunt sent from Jasper, Georgia to Columbus, Ohio, where we were living at the time.
It was a cat. I don't remember a whole lot about it except she was called Kitty Cotton.
We had a little gray cat and we called it Tick, and it ran around the room and ran around the room.
I think it was Scotty. And it had a white V on his forehead, so I named it Vicky.
It was a dog, and I can't remember the name, but I held it all the time.
And a white dog came to the house, and I said, "Mama, can I keep him? Can I keep him?" And she said, "No, no, no." So finally she let me keep him.
What is your favorite fruit to eat and why?
He doesn't eat fruit, really.
Oh, grapes.
Grapes.
I like pineapple.
You eat strawberries. You eat strawberries.
I like strawberries.
Apples and grapes.
I guess mine would be bananas.
Mine is blueberries because somebody told them they're good for me, and they're just good.
Is it fun being your age, or would you rather be 21?
Well, I sure don't want to be 21. In my head, I still think that I'm maybe 65.
I like my age now.
I wished I would just stop and let's go for another 20 years, but no.
My body says differently, but
I guess I'd rather stay where I am than be 21 when I think of all the things that have happened.
There's a certain kind of peace and all is well when you become an old person.
Well, I wouldn't mind being 25 again, but that's not reality, so I just have to live with what I got.
Well, I sure enjoyed being in college. That was the best years of my life, I think.
Have a lot of good memories, but I don't think I would want to go back.
If I'd have known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
I would love to be 25 again, but know what I know now.
Hi, my name is Will Wharton. My question is, what do you like to learn about?
oh, I love history. I love history.
Things that are broken, I like to fix things. But when I was growing up, I tore up a lot of things trying to fix them.
I'm a docent at the South Carolina State Museum. I take tours and teach classes.
I like to learn about my ancestry. I've been working on that. I have cleaned out every drawer and every closet and all my files and trying to get my ancestry in order to pass along.
Well, one of my favorite programs on the air is anything has to do with the cosmos. I'm fascinated with the stars and.
Well, I like to learn about what's going on with the church and what's going on with my friends right now.
I do have an interest in the stock market.
And you're holding Economics 101 for the grandchildren.
That's right. I'm enjoying my grandson, who has a tremendous interest in stocks.
But I will say I'm a TMC fan, and I do enjoy learning about the movies and the people who played in them back in the 30s and the 40s.
What was your dream when you were a kid?
I was going to go to college and be a librarian.
Agriculture teacher.
The first dream I had was I wanted to be a missionary, of course, you know.
I want to be on Broadway.
Well, getting out of high school and then getting out of college was my dream.
But I got to Winthrop, and the librarians were these old, grouchy ladies in this big old library. And I said, if that's where the librarians end up, I don't want any part of it. So I decided I'd just be an English teacher.
See, when I was growing up, I was on a farm and everything, and I learned things in agriculture class that taught me a lot of things.
But in the meantime, I got married and had 5 kids.
But then I got a job and I got married and we had children. And
As a matter of fact, what I do now, I had no plans of doing it. I couldn't get a job, and my daddy said, well, come on down here and hang out with us. So I did, and I've been there ever since.
Maybe going to college and getting a job and finding a lovely wife and getting married and have children.
He said the right thing that time, didn't he? You know you're being taped, don't you?
Hi, I'm Dessa Sortabose. What experience reminds you about current life during this virus pandemic?
I grew up in the Depression, and that was hard times. Everybody was poor, you know, in the Depression. That was the hardest time. It was kind of like the same thing.
Well, there was a polio epidemic when we were young.
But I do recall getting a polio shot or salt vaccine.
Well, I had forgotten about that, but that's true. I can remember it. We couldn't go to movie theaters.
And we couldn't go to public places. We missed church for a long time. But they came up with a cure for polio.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do the same thing for COVID-19.
I think the next thing I remember most was Pearl Harbor.
I think you would have to say World War II. When I was going through cleaning out some drawers, I came upon this, and it contains our whole family's ration books. Because when you went grocery shopping, you had to use your ration books.
What was your favorite part of your life?
I think it's our enjoyment of music.
Oh, yeah.
The enjoyment of music.
It has,
The 50s were my best decade because I finished high school, finished college, and went in the Army and spent 2 years in Germany and played the whole time I was there, and nobody was shooting at me.
My children, when Sally got to be a teenager, I thought to myself, why in the world did I ever think I wanted children?
I really love going to Saugerhatch. I really love that. I love that, working with kids, and I get a lot out of that.
When she turned 16, it was just like a light came on and everything was great. Never had any trouble with Johnny.
Well, right now, the highlights of my life are when all my family get together.
I guess my young married life. We had a lot of good friends, and we all, our kids came up together.
John said, Johnny's driving me crazy. I said, no, he's not. He says, I never had any problem with Sally. I said, I never had any problem with Johnny. It's a gender thing. Get used to it.